Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Ackerman, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Rick Ackerman, editor of the newsletter Rick's Picks, his website rickackerman.com. He's speaking to us from Florida, or have you wandered off somewhere?
I've wandered off. I'm in North Carolina right now, western North Carolina near Asheville, and always a pleasure to wherever I am to be on your show, Jim.
Rick, the Dow down, but do you think this is just a little dip? It's not a sign that we're into what some people suspect will be a down fall season.
I think it's a fraud. You can just smell the rotation here. The Dow's off 180 points, but we've got some of the lunatic stocks like Amazon is up. Chipotle, we're now Chipotle Nation, so Chipotle is up about 1.5%. Facebook is going gangbusters, up 2.5%. So whenever you see that, some stocks up pretty good, but others down, it just means that the usual dirt balls are rotating money.
Is that obvious to other traders, or are these the professionals who, I don't know if we say the market is manipulated, but let's say they really play it?
Well, the market's 100% manipulated. When I worked in the trading pits in San Francisco, and one of the firms like J.P. Morgan or Bear Stearns came in and wanted to do a size trade, it was like a belled cat. We knew the guy was trying to rip us off, that he was not only front running us, but he was front running his own customers. That's what the firms do. When they get big customer orders, they get ahead of them buying puts or calls or whatever it takes. And typically they were putting on risk-free hedges like reversals and conversions and boxes and things, just for the interest income that those things generated. But so anyway, yeah, every order is pretty much front run, and it's all a big sleazy game. But you can see that the general direction is up. Up always gets a systematic boost. By the way, I think they just decided that Raytheon, Exxon, and one other stock were going to be thrown out of the Dow, and Exxon's been there forever, but it just wasn't pulling its load, so they're going to put in a few tech stocks. One of them is, what's the hot, the work something or other, workspace. They've got a huge empty office tower in San Francisco. I'm trying to remember, but anyway, there are three stocks. It's Salesforce, Amgen, and Honeywell are getting swapped in for Exxon, Pfizer, and Raytheon. And it's like the Dow is trying to out NASDAQ the NASDAQ, but over time, it's a way of artificially boosting the value of the Dow, and they're doing it in part because of the effect of the Apple split, which is going to change the way tech stocks are weighted, or change the weighting of tech stocks in the index. So it's all just a big game, and this change in the Dow is always a good way to keep the Dow moving ever upward, even if it's not supported by earnings.
Has it been a surprise that the Dow has been so strong? In fact, the whole stock market?
Well, it's still lagging the NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ 100 is up there in nosebleed territory, making new record highs pretty much every day. And the S&Ps are there as well, but it's only because of the stodgy stocks like Exxon that the Dow is trading currently 28,144. The all-time high back in February was 29,568. So we've got 1,400 points here before the Dow equals the performance of the NASDAQ 100 and the S&Ps. So that's why they've snapped into action and done the only thing they could think of, which was, well, let's just take out stocks that are going to perform better for ones that have been in the Dow for 130 years, like Exxon.
We'll have more with Rick Ackerman right after this.
Value from success, growth, and discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Rick Ackerman. Rick, how much higher do you think the Dow will go before we see any kind of major correction?
600 points, and then it's possible that it won't be a correction. This could be the big one. Sooner or later, all rallies like this, anything that can't go on forever, won't. That statement having been attributed to Herb Stein at one point. Anyway, I think we're coming up on some crucial thresholds. I've got a target in Apple at 537 and change, and currently trading 496. The recent high was 515, I think it was. So Apple is creeping up toward a high at 537. I don't think it's going to get past that, what I call a heat and pivot resistance, very easily. And it served me very well to emphasize Apple in my forecast, because I'm probably more bearish than the next guy. I'm a long-term bear, and I see the glass mainly as half full, but half full of hemlock. So just keeping track of Apple, you can be certain that if Apple has higher to go, then it's going to drag the rest of the market higher too. It's the biggest stock in the world, with the valuation exceeding $2 trillion. That's a lot of cell phones and laptops. So anyway, Apple is grotesquely overvalued, and sooner or later it has to top out. But to be precise, I think it'll be at 537. And I hate to put that number out because, it's like a watch pot, and as soon as I drum roll a number like that, it sort of queers the odds. But I do like 537. And I have a corresponding number in even the S&Ps that I'm not going to, and the S&P 500, but I'm not going to put that out and jinx it too. But I do see a top, or a potentially important top, not too far above.
We'll have more with Rick Ackerman right after this.
Ackerman Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Ackerman's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at ackermanresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Rick Ackerman. Rick, what's going on with Crude?
Well, Crude has, the boys have done an amazing job keeping it just over $40 a share, which coincidentally is where a lot of producers are just marginally profitable. And it's been a pretty good, pretty successful effort. You know, there's hugely lower demand for crude because, of course, the airlines are barely flying and the cruise lines are barely floating. So we're using a lot less gas, and for crude prices to be at 42.62 attests to the genius of the sleazeballs who are propping it up. And it's crucially important that they do that for as long as possible, because the collapse that's coming in the price of oil will be one of the main drivers of the deflationary bust that's coming. There has been so much borrowing and financializing of energy assets over the last 5 years that it's a crucial geopolitical concern that the sleazeballs be able to hold up the price of crude for as long as possible. But obviously they're bucking the trends of supply and demand, and that's not going to be possible forever.
Will the shine remain on gold?
I like gold. And, you know, I know last week a couple good technicians out there were talking about a Bradley turn date and some heavy stochastics where the indexes were going to fall and gold was going to fall and stocks were going to fall. But we're really not seeing it. Gold, there are days really when the sleazeballs who hammer gold, mainly bullion banks, that borrow gold in infinite quantities so they can lend out against it, and essentially well, it's a carry trade where they're making money just off the spread and the interest they get from being able to borrow and lend at the same time at rates that differ. So anyway, occasionally you get those days when the dirt balls really pile on gold, and we had one of those days last week. But you notice that when it rallies and it takes what ordinarily would be a second leg down, the second leg, as we're seeing today, is pretty feeble. So as much as the powers that be want gold down, they're really having trouble pounding it. And basis the December COMEX contract, it's trading 19.25 right now, and I would say that it's going to take every ounce of pounding that they can bring to it to push it down to an 1837 target that I've got. So that would be about 88 points lower, I think, than where it's trading now. I don't think it's going to get down there. I'd be surprised if the December COMEX got below 1883, and once it gets a mind to go higher, once all this selling's done, I think we'll be pushing up toward 2200 on the COMEX futures. And looking long term, there's no question that gold's going to come down on that day that is somewhere in the middle to short distance where everything gets sold, all assets, like we saw in March. And I think gold will get hit then too. But because the reason for the sell-off is going to bring a lot of things back in focus that should be troubling the market now much more than they are, gold is going to be a crisis haven. So I think we could, I'm also looking for a very important low in the dollar. And when that happens, we're going to see a sea change in so many things. If the dollar's changing, every trend that we've been watching will change, I think, with the exception of gold. As I said, I think gold will get hit initially, but over time, as we go into deeper and deeper global crisis, you're going to see gold rise and silver concurrently with the dollar.
All these places that require 80, 90% capacity to be a go, I'm talking restaurants, movie theaters, nightclubs, are they going to come back from this?
What a joke. You know, they're opening the Miami Stadium for Dolphins game, and they're trying to seat 13,000, which would be about 25% of capacity. and or no, actually, maybe I'm trying to think. The capacity may even be 60,000, and it's stupid, really, because when I think it's a game try, and it's great. I think they got to do something to keep football alive, and baseball for that matter. And I think that the people who made those decisions to go get on with the show they're my heroes, really. But realistically speaking, the social distancing and the word stadium are not compatible. A stadium is a place where you pack in a lot of people, and the movie theaters are trying to make the argument now that they're no less safe than certain other outdoor indoor venues like Kmart or whatever, but or I should say Walmart. But it's just not going to happen. And there's a question, really, if they open the stadiums and they try to get football going again, will anybody show up? And the answer is yes, some people will show up, but there are so many businesses that are so, they need to be running at close to 100% capacity to make any money at all. And of course, the most crucial business in that area is, or under that logic, is the airline business. You know, they've gotten so used to cramming us like sardines into airplanes that there's no way they're going to find their way back to profitability. They just can't do it. And I don't think any other place that really depends on crowds is going to be able to do it. And when you look at the restaurant business, I think Yelp had to figure out that something like 60% of the restaurants have closed and may never reopen. But we're going to see that trend accelerate this winter when they're not able to serve over most of the country. They're not able to serve meals outdoors. So this is going to be the toughest winter. This will be like having a restaurant in Leningrad during the siege, you know, and they'll be using trebuchets okay, I'm picturing flying cows. Anyway, so much for that metaphor.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Monty Python.
The restaurants are facing an impossible winter. And, you know, the shopping malls even, they're making a game try. They were on their way out of business before the pandemic, and now they're having like RuPaul dress and drag shows where you pay $70 for your car, and a date to go watch a drag show in the parking lot of some shopping mall. But it's a kind of a desperate last-ditch effort. So there are more businesses than you can shake a stick at that are going to close over the next year. And the pandemic has greatly accelerated the trend in the shopping malls, and all the other players that are trying to get open, you know, whether it's movie theaters with 15-cent tickets or the airlines with really cheap fares, it just ain't going to work.
Rick, how would you assess the overall situation right now, or is this the calm before the next big storm, or do we still have a little more time to get our pleasure craft around the island before the big storm hits?
Well, if you can't, that's today. I mean, we're having that time to get our pleasure craft ready today, and maybe tomorrow and a few more days. As I said, I think the Dow is going a little bit higher. But if you had to guess when the market's going to embark on its big move down, it's going to be with news that the vaccine trials are all going down in flames. And I hope that somehow we come up with a very effective vaccine. But it's going to be a miracle if we do, because they've already had a report of some guy in China getting reinfected, and even though the symptoms were mild, and that's a good sign, as long as the virus is seen to be mutating, you're never really going to develop a very effective vaccine. So I think Wall Street's hopes, if that's the right word, are misplaced, and kind of all that's riding on a vaccine, we're all kind of waiting for that great vaccine. I would suggest that instead of doing that, you lay in a supply of batteries and water and K rations for that long winter.
Rick, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me on, Jim. Always a pleasure to connect.
My guest has been Rick Ackerman, editor of the newsletter Rick's Picks, his website, rickackerman.com. If you have any questions for Rick or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @House Street. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.